Okay, let's go over my thoughts on the lawsuit finally. I'm not going to go over every single point. I think there's a lot of people that have done that. I'm just going to go over the points that I found most important. And I've been claimed of being way too harsh on Blake lately by some women and hating on women. I'm being hated on for calling out Blake. So I'm going to try to do this as unbiased as possible, pull up Blake's and pull up Justin's and talk about the differences. First, let's just talk about the title of the New York Times article. We can bury anyone inside a Hollywood smear machine. Private messages detail an alleged campaign to tarnish Blake Lively after she accused Justin Baldoni of misconduct on the set of It Ends With Us. What a title. However, in Justin's complaint, there was never any accusation prior to shooting, during all of shooting, or even after shooting the film, all through editing. There was never an accusation of sexual harassment or misconduct. Something that stood out to me immediately when I was reading the 30 list point demand of the return to work was number 30. I spoke about this before, but I did really have questions why Ryan Reynolds' involvement was even in there, and he is named number 30. An in-person meeting before production resumes with Mr. Baldoni, Mr. Heath, Miss Sachs, the Sony representative, and the new producer, Blake Lively, and Blake Lively's spouse, Ryan Reynolds, to confirm and approve a plan for implementation of the above that will be adhered to physical and emotional safety for Blake Lively, her employees, and all the cast and crew moving forward. Why Ryan Reynolds? It's very interesting. I had questions from the start. But I don't know a lot of people who bring their spouses in to their work meetings instead of lawyers and reps. I want to talk specifically about things on set. Blake Lively claims, without these protections in place, Mr. Baldoni improvised physical intimacy that was not been rehearsed, choreographed, or discussed with Miss Lively, with no intimacy coordinator involved. For instance, Mr. Baldoni discreetly bit and sucked on Miss Lively's lower lip during a scene in which she improvised numerous kisses in each take. He insisted on shooting the full scene over and over again and beyond, which would have been required on an ordinary set, and without advance notice or consent. To me, that seemed a little strange at first because you always get a shooting schedule. You kind of know all the scenes that you're shooting ahead of time. But I was like, oh, damn, that's kind of weird, right? Like when I first read that off the page, I was like, okay. In Justin's lawsuit on page 55, 91, it says, moreover, it was Lively who engaged in unchoreographed kissing scenes. One scene again captured on camera exhibits Lively pulling Baldoni in to kiss her. It is very clear Lively was initiating unchoreographed kissing. In one take, she pulled Baldoni in and kissed him once, in another take twice, and the number of kisses entirely initiated by Lively, changed at her whim. Baldoni, as a professional actor who, among other roles, played the lead's love interest in television's Jane and the Virgin 5 years, 100 episodes, is, like most actors, accustomed to rehearsing or filming scenes multiple times over with variations, without needing permission while in character. While Lively now takes issues with any innocuous improvisations, Baldoni, as Ryle may have allegedly initiated while in character, Baldoni treated their relationship on camera as professional, each playing their part, each doing their job. If no one was supposed to improvise, Baldoni would have never have known based on Lively's own actions. Lively demonstrated again and again and again that this was a normal and acceptable part of filming romantic scenes. The one thing that really stood out to me in Blake's claim was her birthing scene. And she had claimed that I'm not going to read the entire paragraph, but she had claimed that even the Wayfair co-chairman, Mr. Sarowitz, flew in just that day. And she's claiming he only flew in because she was going to be spread. And she also said that the OBGYN wasn't an actor. He was best friends of Justin Baldoni, and that role should have gone to a small local actor. And she also said that she wasn't wearing anything to cover her up. She asked a dozen times for something to cover her, which she never got, as well as, what else did she say? She only had a piece of fabric, one little cloth covering her private parts. That really stood out to me because if you are on set, There are many people responsible for the things that she is accusing of, especially not being covered and things like that. And I knew that it would be on camera and there would be a lot of witnesses. In Justin's lawsuit, on page 5183, it says, later in her complaint, Lively alleges that during a scene, the birthing scene, she was mostly nude with her legs spread open in stirrups and only a small piece of fabric covering her genitalia, and that there was non-essential persons present. This allegation is knowingly false. To begin with, to describe Lively as mostly nude and naked from below the chest down is dishonest. Lively was wearing black briefs and a pregnancy suit that covered her midsection, and her top was covered by a hospital gown. Her legal complaint deliberately suggests that she was wearing a small piece of new fabric glued around her genitalia. By stating this is generally what female actors use to provide some minimal privacy without disturbing the shot, leaving the reader to believe Lively was only wearing this small fabric. Lively was aware of this birthing scene as she was heavily involved in writing, rather than rewriting, the script and gave creative input for this specific scene, even against the director's creative vision. Moreover, film footage clearly demonstrates that the set was not chaotic, as she alleges, and only essential individuals were present for the scene and doing their jobs. Importantly, Lively knowingly and falsely alleges that the film's financier was present during these scenes and insinuates he was watching her nude, which he had no desire to do. He was not even on set during the filming of that scene. He arrived later, merely stopping by for a brief moment amid his busy schedule. And y'all remember that OBGYN that she said was his best friend? Well, it turns out that he actually did cast him. They are friends, but there's nothing wrong with casting your friend. It's like casting Blake's sister just because she's Blake's sister, etc., etc. That's the example they use. However, they state the actor portraying the OBGYN is an award-winning Shakespearean-trained actor with an MFA in acting from UCLA. In addition to appearing on numerous hit television shows, he toured nationally with a Tony Award-winning acting company and attended Oxford's acting program on a full scholarship. His accolades and performances speak for themselves. He was an actor. Didn't you guys talk? Like, what did you guys do? Like, I don't know. You didn't even say, like, how are you? Where are you from? What do you do? What are you working on? What? I don't know. And then a few other little notes. Blake claimed that there was no intimacy coordinator. Everyone's going on about this intimacy coordinator. He proves that he hired them well before there was a nudity writer that was approved by a SAG intimacy coordinator. Blake never signed her contract, never signed off on any of the documents. That's trouble. She also, which really tickled my fancy when I read the lawsuit and was like, damn, she claimed that during a dance scene where it was MS, so no sound was recording, that Justin smelled her neck or licked her neck and said that smells good. He said that he was recording sound. He was mic'd the whole time, and they are going to be showing that, or letting us, the courts, I guess, listen, that he was mic'd. And she had made a giggle and a joke about her self-tanner smelling, and he smelled her neck and said, no, that smells good. Where's the truth? Maybe somewhere in the middle. I'm not sure. But just going, back and forth, he says he has the footage and he has the audio. And the times that she thought he wasn't mic'd, that man was mic'd. So that will be either easy to prove or disprove. Next, I'll get into the writing and the fat shaming and just a few other notes I have, and I do have a whole video that I want to do on the PR side of this. I'm just talking about the stuff on set because I think the PR team is a big reason why the New York story was told, or the New York Times story was told. So yeah, let's just get into it.